Today on Fast Friday, I'm going to show you a special setting that will help to reduce high ISO noise value in your 4K footage. Hi everyone, welcome to Pal to Tech. Today we're talking about reducing noise when shooting 4K video at high ISO values. Now, when I say high ISO, I'm generally talking about ISOs that are above 6400. There's a setting in your camera right here called 4K Interframe Noise Reduction. See it right there? Now, according to Fujifilm, this setting can reduce noise at ISO 12800 by the equivalent of approximately 2 stops. Now, it does this by analyzing different pixel information in adjacent frames to help separate the noise from the picture info. Now, before flipping it on, there's a couple of things that you need to know about. First, it will only work on 4K footage, so you cannot use this for, say, 1080p. Secondly, it will only work at 30 frames per second or less. So basically, if you're shooting 4K at either 24, 25, or 30 frames per second, this setting is for you. And lastly, Fujifilm does mention some ghosting may occur with moving subjects or if the camera is moved during shooting. Now, as far as the setting itself, there's not much to it. It's either on or off, right? Let's go ahead and turn it on, just like this. Boom. So I decided to conduct a bunch of tests at different ISO ranges. I shot them all on a Fujifilm X-T4 camera at 4K, of course, at 24 frames per second, and I used the highest bit rate possible of 400 megabits per second. I used the H.265 codec with long GOP compression, and I also used one of my best quality lenses, the 16mm prime, for all the tests. I also set a custom white balance to keep colors consistent between shots. I shot a number of tests, both with a color chart as well as in a darkened room moving the camera around. Here's what I discovered. First, at ISO values below 12,800 on the dial, I didn't really see much difference. I did begin to see it when I reached ISO 6400. See it there? You can spot it in the darker areas for sure. Not a huge difference, but noticeable. However, once I put the camera's ISO into 12,800, the highest point on the dial, I could definitely see a difference. Have a look at this color chart right here. You see that? The footage on the left has the setting turned off, and the footage on the right, I turned on the Interframe Noise Reduction. And you can definitely see a difference. Look at that. But that's not all, folks. It got even more noticeable when I used the extended ISO value of 25,600. See it here on the color chart? Check it out. Same thing here as the other test. No noise reduction turned on the footage on the left. Interframe Noise Reduction 4K turned on the footage on the right. And finally, I shot some test footage in a darkened room using these same settings. Have a look at this. Look at the wall next to the lamp. Do you see the difference? But wait, there's more. Check this out. Look at it at 25,600. And it's definitely more noticeable at that higher ISO value. But remember this, that really high ISO value of 25,600 is not the camera's native ISO value. It's applied right after the digital to analog conversion stage. So for this reason then, I would assume that with that super high ISO value, of course, you would see the most significant amount of interframe noise reduction. I also noticed in my testing that the noise reduction was the most effective when the camera was locked down and not in motion. And this makes sense because video interframe noise reduction is specifically designed for areas of video frames where there's no motion going on, camera lockdown, static shot, and that sort of thing. And even though Fujifilm warned about ghosting and being careful with camera panning, I tried that out. I didn't really see any ghosting. That doesn't mean you won't, and you should definitely test this out before shooting any kind of production footage, but I am definitely going to use it if I'm stuck having to shoot at those high ISO values in 4K. There's no reason for me not to. This is definitely one setting that I wish more people knew about, and I think it can benefit you greatly if you shoot 4K footage, a lot of that in low light, and your camera mostly is on a tripod or you're not moving it around a whole lot. There is no reason I can think of not to use this setting. At least try it out and see what you think. Well, thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you found the video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, be sure to give it the like and subscribe. I'm going to be signing off now, but have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you in a new video next week. Take care.